Right.
Wants to come.
You got the Esmeralda.
Hey, you want to say hi?
Hello. Brewing some Hacienda La Esmeralda on 078 and our little SWORKS brewer. This is Sheldon's brewer, S-Works. Sworks. Is it Sworks or S-Works? It's S-Works. S-Works.
Sheldon works.
Sheldon Works brewer. And it's basically a little machined Delrin needle valve. So there's the needle and, basically just closes the needle valve. And it can close all the way or at any amount of closed as well. So you can do really low flow or faster flow. Then it also just comes apart with these O-rings, and you can swap out the bottom so you can have different flow rates for the bottom as well. So I like to just leave it fully open on the bottom, and then I flow control with the actual needle valve. You just set that in there. I already have a negotiated filter in there, so we'll brew with that.
How does that smell? I gotta smell it.
I mean, it smells really good.
Ooh, baby.
It smells.
Esmeralda.
Yeah, it smells. It smells really refined too. I was expecting a little bit of. I mean, it is washed, but I was expecting a little bit of semi-washed funk. But this is classic washed smelling.
Jasmine,
So
nectarine,
yeah, that's
and
gorgeous.
Vanilla.
The best part is you can preheat by just pouring it in with the valve closed, and it doesn't just run through. So you can just wait a minute and then open the valve and dump the preheat water.
So you can hold the top and tilt the...
Yeah, so the base and the top spin independently, and that's what opens and closes the needle valve. Now we're preheated. Just set that down. So this recipe is essentially my my easy mode recipe for brewing. So there's other recipes that I've tried that do a little bit more extraction or less extraction. This is one I've found that if I want to make sure I don't mess up a coffee on the first try, this is what I go with. And with this Esmeralda, I definitely am trying to not mess it up. Cool. So 12-gram dose, and we're immediately going all the way up to 50 grams. And I do a wet WDT if it looks like it needs it, but this looks like it hit everything. Right at 20 seconds, I slightly open the valve just until I see it start to drain, but not open as fast as it will go. And then right at 30 seconds, center pour up to 100 grams, and then spiral out to 130. And then at a minute, we're going to do that again all the way up to 175.
It's slowly draining out right now.
Yep, so with this grind size and with an open bottom brewer, normally you would have a much faster drain than this. But basically what we're doing is we're artificially slowing down the flow so that we have more contact time, but without the... Because traditionally, if you grind finer, you're going to have, more channeling, more potential for issues. But this basically gives us that prolonged contact time without having to risk channeling or, any of the other issues of the extended drawdown.
Yeah, and you can control the steep time, right, and have the contact time by just changing the valve.
Yeah, and I've tried some 1 minute, 2 minute steeped blooms, but what I've found is that with a full steeped bloom, you start to get some of the kind of cloudiness or muddiness that you get from an immersion brew. But when you do just a really short 20-second steeped bloom, you basically get the benefits of super good saturation, where all your grounds are super saturated and floating. And then right at 20 seconds, you open it up so it starts to drain out for a normal like 30-second bloom. And the goal with this is to finish around 3 minutes, whereas this brew would normally take just north of 2 minutes with the same grind size, same filter and all that.
You can grind it.
And so you basically have the benefit of having a very similar tasting brew to that 2-minute brew, just with more sweetness, more complexity.
Be higher extraction too.
Exactly, but not higher extraction in like a muddying or muting way. Just higher extraction in like a...
Yeah, all the notes be louder.
Exactly, exactly. So right before 3 minutes, which is what we're looking for. So
we get a very flat bed.
Yep. And that's a skill thing. So I can't promise that it'll look the same for you. All right. Smells really good.
Oh wow. that is Esmeralda.
Yeah.
All right, give me some Esmeralda. Thank you.
Esmeralda.
Esmeralda. Hey, this is expensive. That was $10 right there.
Yeah, that's
literally $10.
Literally $10. Oh, dude.
It's so good. It is so good.
I mean, when you use such a good grinder, such good coffee, and brew it pretty well, it's going to taste really good, right? But I think what I really like is a lot of really light coffees. In order to push them farther, you have to start grinding pretty fine and start adding more pulses. And that can taste amazing, but it also has a higher chance of hitting channeling, hitting astringency, and hitting some other issues. Whereas by keeping a pretty normal grind size, which is not coarse by any means, but definitely not as fine as I would have ground with this to try to extract everything, you can basically get the same clarity of flavor, same acidity, with just a little bit more like filled out sweetness and complexity in the finish that you wouldn't get otherwise. So I wouldn't say that this tastes different. You can just do different things with it.
Yeah,
right?
And you have more control.
Exactly.
Like you can basically control.
And if you're way too coarse, you can just like really tighten up that needle valve, and then it's going to drip way slower, and you're just going to get more contact time. And if it's going too fast, where it's like going way too slow, then you're kind of in trouble. But you just open it up and hope for the best.
But the flow is pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, the flow is really fast. So if you look at the bottom, if you compare it to like, I don't know, let's say an Oria. The Oria has a lot of open space, but all of the water that's coming through these areas still has to move sideways before it goes out of the filter. Whereas with this, there's basically nowhere on here where the water will have to move sideways before flowing out. So these areas can still clog, whereas there's nothing here to really clog. If you don't have a ton of like
there's a ton of
sitting on the outside of the ribs, and so that's why I pretty much only use this brewer negotiated.
Yeah.
And if I want less extraction, I'll just grind coarser. So
we're gonna try using the SWORKS dripper. So I negotiated a paper filter in here, and I'm just brewing with 102 Mizens from the 01 here. So I'm gonna try to do a steep recipe, or we'll just see how it goes. We have so much control with how much time the water is touching the coffee. We're brewing this coffee today, we're brewing my coffee. We just brewed Say Esmeralda. We'll switch over to an ARP coffee. So everything is fully closed right now, and I think I'm getting decent enough saturation on stuff that I'm just gonna let this kind of bloom here. And I think I'll open this up just a little now. We'll open it up just a little. So you can see I can have variable flow rate. So if I open it all the way up, I can let the flow go even faster. And what's cool is you're able to manipulate the speed at which you are opening and closing the valve. So we have a lot of control over what we do here. Yeah, this is. So look, I can even go up faster if I want to increase the flow rate. And yeah, that's pretty decent flow.
All right, anyone.
Let me see how fast I can get this to go if I go like mostly flow. Yeah, wow, look at that. It is really cool to be able to see that the flow is still good. We are grinding, I think, still a little fine. We're using the 102, using the Misen 102 blind from option O. So it might be pretty nice and high clarity, but defined flavors blended in, not super, super harsh like some of those SSP burrs. Cool, so we can close this up, and the cleanup seems to be pretty okay as well. Just passing out all this coffees now. But yeah, quick look at the SWORKS dripper. Pretty interesting. I think you can check it out on his website. I just had Caleb, one of my friends, do a bit of brewing with it, and I kind of just did a little quick brew there. But definitely we'll have more time with the dripper as time goes on. It just came out, or it's kind of releasing right now, and we'll bring it to a meetup because Sheldon's in the Bay Area. We're at a Bay Area coffee meetup. Pretty fun stuff. Thanks, guys.